Have you ever wondered how Max Verstappen managed to snatch championships from Lewis Hamilton? Why is Ferrari notorious for its pit strategies? And why do we get various frustrating radio messages from Charles Leclerc?
Big crash, it is Charles Leclerc!
I am stupid. I switch off everything.
Well, answers to all these questions lie in the pit strategies. Formula One isn't just about running in a circle, rivaling with your teammates, and sending frustrating messages to your engineers complaining about almost everything.
The box, mate, we're too slow.
We are faster than undercuts.
What the box? Land the pit lane!
In fact, it is all about strategies. One split-second decision can make or break a legend. These decisions actually make Lewis Hamilton 7-time world champion and Charles Leclerc the heartbeat of almost every Formula One fan. These fans couldn't understand the pit strategies happening on the grid that take out a large part of the fun from Formula One. That's why I decided to ramble about pit strategies for the next 25 to 30 minutes here. I will make sure that all of you understand these strategies without getting sleepy. So, fun is also on your way. By the way, if this topic hits your apex, give it a like. And if you want more F1 breakdowns at full throttle, hit subscribe before the light goes out. Pit stops explained. Before understanding pit strategies, you have to understand pit stops. These refer to the moment during a race when a driver pulls into the pit lane to receive quick service from their crew, usually to change tyres, but occasionally to make mechanical adjustments or serve penalties. Unlike normal car servicing, which might take hours and a cup of tea, an F1 pit stop is a chaotic ballet of speed and precision that lasts around 2 to 3 seconds, unless you are at a Ferrari pit stop.
And it almost looked like
There's absolutely no rain for now.
Raining at turn 12, we believe. Box now, box.
No, it's beautiful. Fucking beautiful.
These disasters are common. Now, in Formula One, every second counts, so there is no room for any error in the pit stop. According to F1 rules, every driver has to do one mandatory pit stop during dry races. But in the Monaco Grand Prix, 2 pit stops are mandatory in the dry races. If there is rain, then pit stops become a choice. But where is pit stop? It is present at the side, and the car has to step out of the main grid to get to their pit stop. In that area, different teams' pit stops are crammed. The pit lanes also have speed limits. It is usually 80 km per hour, but at tight tracks like Monaco, only 60 km per hour. Drivers brake as late as possible when entering to gain time. As soon as they cross the speed limit line, they hit a pit limiter button on the steering wheel. Now, braking is also an art here. If you brake early, your pit stop will take unnecessary time. But if you brake a bit late, then you can cross your pit line. In this case, the 20 crew members of your team's garage have to use their strength to take you back. This will also waste time. Once the car stops, a swarm of highly trained pit crew members leap into action. At each wheel, there are typically 3 people, one to remove the old tyre, one to fit the new one, and one to operate the powerful pneumatic wheel gun that can remove and tighten a wheel nut in milliseconds. The car is also jacked up at the front and rear almost simultaneously using manual or hydraulic jacks, which lifts the car just long enough for the tyres to be swapped. Meanwhile, 2 stabilizers hold the car steady, like pit lane bouncers, making sure the car doesn't wobble or roll. If a driver complains, hey, the car's too understeery during the race, the pit crew can make a quick aero tweak during the stop too. Here, 2 mechanics step in with torque tools, like precision electric screwdrivers. They tweak the front wing angle by a few degrees, which adjusts downforce. Just think of it as changing your car's mood from grumpy cat to laser-focused cheetah mid-race. While 20 crew members are doing it, the driver keeps his eyes on the traffic light in front of him. When that light turns green, the driver leaves the pit stop. But if he leaves a bit early, then there could be a disaster. His tyres can come out, or a collision with other drivers can happen. This can also result in penalties. That's why it is important to be very mindful, strategic, and quick while doing pit stops. The Red Bull team shocked the whole world by doing a 1.8 second pit stop. That is the reason they remain unbeatable for a long time. But if we talk about Ferrari, their engineers are liable to forget the 4th wheel. Carlos Sainz would be screaming in the garage, Ferrari fans would be weeping all over the world, and their engineers would run all over the place to get the 4th tyre ready. That is why their pit strategies are notorious.
Starting
pit stop when they weren't ready. Look, they're not even there. There's not a single intermediate tyre in sight.
They came in, whether that was the driver who called it or the team who called it, but the crew weren't ready with the tyres, we don't know.
It is not only actions during the pit stop that can make you the next champion. Drivers and engineers have to decide the timing and consider other factors of race 2 to make their drivers a legend. So, they have to come up with different strategies. Undercut strategy. Imagine you are stuck in traffic behind someone going 30 in a 60 zone and there's no room to overtake. It is super annoying, right? Now, imagine pulling into a side street, flooring it through a shortcut and popping out ahead of them. That, my friend, is the undercut. Formula One's version of saying, "Thanks for holding me up, now watch me vanish." In F1 terms, the undercut means pitting before your rival, getting a fresh set of tyres and putting in blistering lap times while they're still sliding around on worn-out rubber like Bambi on ice. When your rival finally pits a lap or two later, they rejoin the track behind you, looking around like, "Wait, where did he go?" Tyres in F1 degrade faster than a budget smartphone battery. After 15 to 20 laps, grip starts fading and lap times drop like Fernando Alonso's patience. So when a driver pits early, their fresh tyres give them a 1 to 2 second per lap advantage. But this strategy works if 3 conditions are met. The first one is that the track should have more tyre degradation. Hungary, Spain or Bahrain tracks are best, as old tyres scream there. The second thing is that there should not be any traffic after the pit stop, or, I must say, there should not be Nicholas Latifi in front of you, otherwise you might pit again with frustration. The third aspect is that your rival team must be sleeping, or Ferrari doing their Ferrari movement.
So we are going near soft. We are going near soft. We are going.
When these conditions are met, you can easily use this strategy to outperform Lewis Hamilton. Let's rewind to the 2021 French Grand Prix. Max Verstappen and Lewis Hamilton were locked in a DRS-fueled duel for the win. Red Bull pulled a slick move. They pitted Verstappen early for a second stop, gambling on the undercut and better pace on fresher tyres. But Mercedes kept blinking, and Hamilton remained on the track, with his old tyres screaming. By the time he finally pitted, Max had pulled off the undercut like a magician. In the final laps, Verstappen hunted him down and passed Lewis with 3 laps to go. It was strategic brilliance and proof that the undercut, when done right, feels less like a tyre change and more like a heist. Overcut strategy. Overcut is the flip side of the undercut strategy. Instead of pitting first to get a tyre advantage, the driver stays out longer, trusting that they can still bang in fast lap times on older tyres while their rival is off sipping espresso in the pit lane. It's bold and perfect when it works. But when it doesn't, well, just ask Ferrari, or I must say, Charles Leclerc. To understand it better, assume there are cars A and B on the grid. Car A pits on the 20th lap, hits traffic, remains stuck behind slower cars, or a Nicholas Latifi on a Sunday cruise. In that time, car B can make the most of an empty track. The car is now lighter as fuel has burned out, and with no traffic, it can push hard for a lap or two. Until lap 25, there will be a good distance between car A and car B, so now car B can easily pit. It's like showing up late to a party and still ending up with the best seat on the couch. The key ingredient to a successful overcut is clean air and tyres that still have some fight left in them. It works better in low degradation tracks, such as Monaco, where tyres can last for a long time. But if you try to pull this in Hungary's track, your car might just hit the barriers. Now for the somewhat successful example of this strategy, let's get back to the 2021 Spanish Grand Prix, where Max took the undercut strategy. Lewis went for an overcut in the second stint. While Max had taken the lead thanks to the undercut, Mercedes hoped Lewis's fresher tyres would let him charge back in the final laps. And guess what? It almost worked. In the final 10 laps, Lewis was flying, but he just ran out of time. Had there been 2 more laps, Max might have been toast. Now Lewis is not the only one who tried to use this strategy to outperform Max. At the 2022 Belgian Grand Prix, Ferrari decided to pit Leclerc on the final lap to steal the fastest lap point from Max Verstappen. The strategy was clever on paper, but in action, the Ferrari crew gave trauma to Leclerc.
And box now, box now, box for hard. Stay out, stay out.
Fuck! Why?
Multifunction tire, position 5. Multifunction tire, position 5.
The Ferrari crew accidentally released him into traffic and he didn't even get the fastest lap. In his frustration, he made the mistake of speeding in the pit lane and got a 5-second penalty, which dropped him behind Alonso. So, in their attempt to gain 1 point, they lost more than that. It was like watching someone drop their wallet while trying to pick up a penny. So, the overcut is your clever, overachieving cousin who never rushes but still gets straight A's. But it's also risky, because tyres can betray you faster than Ferrari's strategy betrays logic. If the rubber dies before your big push lap or a safety car ruins the timing, you're stuck outside like the last kid picked in dodgeball. Fuel management strategy. The overcut strategy works better if you have done the fuel management strategy cleverly. This strategy has changed dramatically throughout F1 history. Before 2010, mid-race fueling was allowed, so drivers used to keep less fuel in their cars to keep them lighter and faster. Ayrton Senna used this strategy a lot in the 1980s. He used to have less fuel in his car while other drivers kept their tanks full, so his car was faster than the others, giving him the lead easily. But then, other teams noticed his strategy and started following it. Now we would see various cars stopping in the middle of the grid and the crew members running to refuel them. This became a disaster, leading the FIA to ban mid-race fueling in 2010. Now, teams have had to become part engineer, part psychic, and part magician. Now, each car must start the race with all the fuel it needs to reach the checkered flag. This is up to 110 kilograms. That's like dragging around a small adult in the back seat until you've burned them off, lap by lap. The weight affects everything: tyre degradation, car balance, and lap consistency. A full tank at the start can cause understeer. It means the front tyres don't turn as sharply as the driver intends. This can chew through tyres faster, which spirals into more pit stops, slower laps, and a pit wall yelling into your ear like a disappointed parent. Every 10 kilograms of fuel can cost around 0.3 seconds per lap. So if you start too heavy, you're basically racing with an invisible anchor. If you go too light, you'll be coasting to the finish line slower than a grandma on a bicycle. Yes, Max's frustration with grandma-like speed doesn't come out of nowhere.
Max, I think we're a little bit close for tyres at this stage. I think just pull back.
Mate, this is the only chance I'm being close to Mercedes.
So, the trick is to find the sweet spot, just enough fuel to barely make it to the end, with maybe a splash extra for emergencies like safety cars, or an extra lap. As fuel burns off, the car gets lighter and faster. The second half of the race often sees lap times dropping dramatically, especially if the driver has managed both fuel and tyres well. To do this, drivers have to practice two classic strategies. One is lift and coast. It means the driver eases off the throttle early before braking into corners. This saves fuel by cutting engine load and also reduces stress on the brakes, but it comes at a price. You are slower. So it's a careful balance between conserving fuel and not being passed by someone with zero chill behind you. In various races, Lewis Hamilton practiced lifting and coasting for half a lap while still keeping pace with the car behind. His exceptional skill gave him leverage over other drivers. The second strategy is switching between engine modes. The team can instruct the driver to switch between different engine settings. A lean mode uses less fuel but sacrifices power, while a rich mode gives you that full beast mode performance but guzzles fuel like a frat house on free beer night. Teams often deploy lean mode when ahead with a gap or when stuck in traffic and not making progress. Safety car strategy. Imagine you are leading the race, your tyres are starting to cry, "Please, we're done," and suddenly, Nicholas Latifi crashes. The safety car is deployed and now you and your rivals have the golden opportunity. The next move can make or break your game.
Who's that gone off?
Leclerc, it's Leclerc.
Charles Leclerc!
Before understanding this new strategy, you need to know about the difference between a safety car and a virtual safety car. The safety car is a real vehicle that enters the track and forces all the drivers to line up behind it, thereby bunching the pack together. No overtaking is allowed and lap times slow down significantly, often by about 60%. In contrast, the virtual safety car is a digital intervention, where no actual car comes out. Instead, drivers are told to slow down and follow a delta time. This is a preset, slower lap time based on the track, reducing speeds by about 40%, but without bunching the pack. Now, how can you make the clever pit strategy in this disaster? Well, we can understand it with the help of different scenarios. Suppose 3 cars, A, B and C, are racing each other and none have pitted yet. A safety car is deployed. This is an ideal time to pit, because since the lap pace is reduced by 60%, you lose less time in the pits. Like if a normal lap is 100 seconds, under the safety car it stretches to 160, meaning a car entering the pits will not fall as far behind. If all three pit during the safety car, they save time and keep their relative positions. However, if only cars A and B pit, and car C stays out, it may momentarily gain track position, but this is a trap. After the restart, car C is on old tyres while A and B are on fresher rubber, so C likely loses positions later and must still take a costly pit stop under green flag conditions. Or, if you are Charles Leclerc, you can hit the barriers in the French Grand Prix.
Who's that gone off?
Leclerc. It's Leclerc.
Charles Leclerc!
Are you okay?
Now imagine another case. All three cars have already pitted and there are only 3 laps left in the race. The safety car comes out again. Here the smart play is not to pit, because with only a few laps left the race might end under safety car conditions, meaning there's no overtaking, and very little chance to gain positions on fresher tyres. But what if F1 officials announced about virtual safety car deployment? Well, here the pit strategy scenario can be a bit different. Suppose again, cars A, B and C have not pitted, and the virtual car is deployed. The lap slows down by about 40%, so a 100-second lap now takes 140 seconds. This is another great time to pit, but here drivers aren't bunched up, so car A can pit and come out ahead of car B if the gap is big enough. For instance, a regular pit stop may lose you 20 seconds, but under this condition it might be only 10 to 12 seconds. If car A is 15 seconds ahead, they can pit, still come out in front and enjoy fresh tyres. Under the green flag, they would have exited behind both B and C. Fernando Alonso at the 2022 Miami Grand Prix took advantage of the virtual car quite well. Alpine blinked, pulled Alonso in, and he leapfrogged several cars that were still driving around like confused snails trying to obey the Delta. He rejoined, said, "Gracias," and moved up the order without burning rubber or calories. It's like using an express checkout line when everyone else is still looking for change. The one-stop strategy. The one-stop strategy means a driver will only come into the pits once during the entire race. Just one visit to the crew, one quick tyre change, and then it's all about endurance, tyre management, and praying the tyres don't turn to mush before the finish line. The typical plan here is to start the race on soft or medium tyres which are faster but wear out quicker, then switch to hard tyres mid-race and ride them like a cowboy hanging onto a rodeo bull for the next 30 laps. Ideally, you never see the pit crew again, unless you are waving at them from the podium. Just like overcut, this strategy works best in tyre degradation tracks such as of Miami and Spain. You need a car that's kind to its tyres, a driver with a silky smooth driving style and conditions that don't throw a wrench into your plan. Like sudden rain, an aggressive safety car after you have done your pit stop, or Kevin Magnussen forgetting where the brake pedal is. Our George Russell has taken the full benefit of this strategy in Miami 2022. He started 12th and was sulking. But Mercedes had a plan. Keep him out longer than everyone else, wait for a safety car, then make the stop when it costs the least amount of time. And that's exactly what happened. Everyone pitted early. George stayed out, cruising around while muttering sweet nothings to his Pirellis. Out of nowhere, safety car came on the grid, giving Russell the chance to dive into the pits, change to hards, and came out ahead of most of his rivals. He then nursed those tyres for over 30 laps and finished 5th. The two-stop strategy. The two-stop strategy is Formula One's bread and butter, reliable, flexible, and almost always part of the action, especially on tracks where tyre degradation is more brutal than your internet during a thunderstorm. It involves pitting twice during the race, which means running 3 separate stints, typically on different tyre compounds like soft, medium, hard, or maybe soft, medium. It depends on the track, tyre allocation, and race dynamics. Each pit stop costs around 20 to 25 seconds, so teams need to be smart about when and how they use them, because that time in the pits can easily turn into a one-way ticket to midfield misery. The strategy thrives on shorter stints with fresher tyres, allowing drivers to push harder without babying the rubber like in a one-stop race. For example, in the Bahrain Grand Prix where the tarmac chews tyres like bubblegum, teams often go soft, hard, soft, or any variation that gives them good grip at the start, endurance in the middle, and a performance burst at the end. That final stint on fresh softs often becomes a fan favourite as drivers fly through the field like caffeinated cheetahs on brand new Pirellis. What makes this strategy particularly appealing is its adaptability. If the track temperature spikes, a safety car appears, or tyre wear isn't behaving as expected, teams can tweak the plan. swap the compound order, extend a stint, or switch to a different tyre entirely. It gives drivers room to breathe and strategists the flexibility to respond to changing conditions. On high degradation circuits like Silverstone or Hungary, where tyres degrade faster than trust in Ferrari's pit wall, a two-stop keeps performance more consistent across the race. But it's not all sunshine and champagne. The double pit window means twice the risk. A mistimed safety car can drop a driver into traffic hell, or worse, directly behind a DRS train going 5 miles per hour slower than ideal. If just one stop goes wrong, slow tyre change, traffic on outlap, or box cool confusion, your race can unravel faster than a rookie's first qualifying session in the rain. So, while the two-stop strategy is often the go-to for balance and pace, it requires tight execution, clear communication, and just a touch of luck, because in F1 the difference between hero and heartbreak is often just 0.1 seconds and a well-timed pit stop. The multi-stop strategy. After two-stop strategy, you must be thinking, multi-stop strategy is a bit of a stupid thing to do because it involves 3 or more pit stops, sacrificing pit lane time in exchange for flat-out high-speed stints on fresh tyres. Though your fresh tyres can compensate your wasted pit lane time, this strategy is not ideal for weak-hearted people. Michael Schumacher's legendary 4-stop strategy at the 2004 French Grand Prix is the perfect example of how this strategy could work. Ferrari and strategist Ross Brawn knew that Magny-Cours was a track where clean air, tyre grip and lap time mattered more than track position, so they went for 4-stop strategy. It sounds ridiculous, but Schumi spent each stint with low fuel and brand new tyres, clocking qualifying style laps, while everyone else was nursing their rubber. By the time it was all said and done, Schumacher not only made 4 stops, he still won the race, proving that raw pace, when unleashed correctly, can bend the rules of strategy itself. This type of plan is best suited for specific situations, like extremely abrasive circuits such as Silverstone, Suzuka, or Imola, where tyres fall off a cliff after just a handful of laps. It can also be a wildcard move for cars starting in the midfield that have raw pace but need to break out of traffic. Instead of getting stuck behind slower cars, a driver pits early, goes fast, pits again, goes even faster, and repeats until the timing sheet starts looking like an arcade game leaderboard. Weather strategy. Rain makes race fun for F1 fans, but a headache for strategists and teams. When the skies open up, teams must decide whether to switch from slick tyres to intermediates or full wets. And when the rain stops, you have to judge the exact moment to risk switching back to slicks, because too early means skating off like Bambi on ice, and too late means you have lost 20 seconds to someone braver. So you have to think twice or thrice before making a pit stop in the rainy conditions. Otherwise, you could end up doing Ferrari mistakes.
And the pit stop will be slower. We need to do air refill. Pit stop.
It was Monaco Grand Prix 2022. Leclerc started from pole position on his home turf and everything looked perfect, until the skies got moody and Ferrari's strategy team got confused, as usual. First, they left Charles out too long on full wets while others were switching to intermediates. Then, just as he settled into the new tyres, Ferrari called him in again, only to double stack behind Carlos Sainz. It resulted in a tragic 20-second blunder that dropped Charles from P1 to P4. As expected, his furious radio scream became a meme.
Time. The Williams had already been lapped, so Leclerc lets him go.
So, next time you watch F1 race, keep these strategies in your mind. You would suddenly start seeing more chaos and fun on the grid. Do share your experiences and thoughts with me in the comments section.